Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So before I get started with this video, I want to remind people that on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to interview Lauren Burke. And she's the woman that confronted Umar Johnson on Roland Martin's show, and she was critical of his comments about interracial relationships. So I hope you all can join that Google Hangout. And again, if you all have questions that you would like me to ask her, please leave those in the comments section. And also you can leave those in the chat room when we actually have the Hangout. So I hope you all can join me for that. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because yesterday I did a video about an African-American man, a young man, who was killed by a white man. This young African-American man was dating this white man's daughter. White daughter, and his father killed him. I'll post a link in the card so you all can watch that video if you have not seen that video. Now, this black kid is biracial, and somebody left a comment basically criticizing me, saying, well, you're not consistent. One minute you're saying that these people are black. You know, for this particular video, you're saying that this biracial person is black, but in other videos you said that biracial people are not black. And then this person went on to basically say that I'm being inconsistent and that I'm using this for political purposes. That's what she was basically implying. And I take issue with that. You know, I think that that is a disrespectful comment, and I have to respond to it. First of all, you know, this person who's raising these points is not even black, so this isn't even her issue. You know, that's the first thing. The second thing is this. I have done many videos arguing that biracial people are black. People know this. They know that I have engaged in debates with fellow YouTubers over this issue of whether or not biracial people are black. I've said it time and time again that biracial people are black, that race is a social construct, that no matter how the individual defines themselves, society defines race. And in this society, biracial people are treated as black and they are viewed as black. So there is no inconsistency here. There is no political motives here. What we have is a situation where a young black person, a young black man, was killed, and there is no justice. After 3 trials in a clear case of murder, they were unable to reach a verdict. And again, that speaks to the racism that black people face in this country. It speaks to the racism of the criminal justice system and of society in general. And it is a prime example of how biracial people are treated just like any other black person in this society. And I mean, anyone who's familiar with Plessy versus Ferguson, you know, the case that established this separate but equal concept that justified Jim Crow, justified racial segregation and oppression. They noted in that case, you had a very light person, you know, a very light person with some African-American heritage. That person was forced to be segregated, and that person was subjected to the segregation laws. So again, that's another reminder of how these light-skinned people, these biracial people, were treated and are treated just like any other black person. They are segregated. They are subjected to the same discrimination that a lot of African Americans face in this country. So, you know, I just take issue with that. You know, I take issue with somebody questioning my motives. And this person brought up some examples of some videos that I did, for instance, about Paris Jackson, where I said that she is not black, which is obvious. Anyone with a pair of eyes can see that that woman is not Michael Jackson's biological daughter. They can see that. That woman is not black at all. She's white as a snowflake. she is not black. You know, Michael Jackson, more likely than not, adopted those kids. So that woman, Paris Jackson, is not his daughter. So that can't be used as some kind of way to undermine the point that I raised in this recent video about this horrible tragedy where there is no justice. It's not about some political motives or being, you know, race baiting or anything like that. It's just a fact. A fact that in this society, black lives do not matter. And then this other example she raised is a video that I did about a police officer who was white, a white officer who just happened to do some ancestry DNA test, and they said he had a small percentage of black in his DNA. That person with a small percentage of blackness in his DNA cannot be compared to some biracial person who obviously looks non-white, who obviously was subjected to discrimination and racial oppression. And even that cop, that white cop that had a small percentage of blackness in him, was subjected to discrimination, you know, subjected to taunting and all that kind of stuff. So again, you know, in this society, they still live under the one-drop rule, where they treat anybody with any kind of black ancestry as a person to be subjected to discrimination. But my point is simple. That cop with a tiny percentage of blackness can't be compared to someone who obviously is non-white, who obviously appears to have African American features. And, you know, I'm going to close on this note. I just find it disappointing that someone would be focused on my motives instead of focused on the actual issue. The fact that you have a young boy who's 19 years old who was killed, murdered for no reason. And there is no justice after 3 trials. So this person would rather nitpick and question my motives than to address the core issue, and that's the issue of justice.